Hello, folks. For those who are here early and for those who are not here at all, but are going to watch this later. So, hi, my name is Rita Wood, and I am so grateful and thankful to be here of service to a community who's interested in mindset, thinking system, thinking process. How are you thinking? What is it that you're thinking? What are those thoughts? And what I learned is that the thoughts that I had were dictating the temperature of my life. So if I was feeling hot and on fire and mad, sad, glad, it was because of what I was thinking. So when I first went into a 12-step meeting program, the number one thing that I kind of take from that was to take complete ownership and responsibility for myself. It had nothing to do with anybody in my life. It had nothing to do with anybody who was bothering me, someone's behavior, someone's drinking, someone's eating, had nothing to do, and it had everything to do with me. And when I realized that, I noticed and started gaining some power back. And so now, fast forward 25 years later, I have even more notice how important it is to take responsibility for yourself. So how can we best do that where just the average person can come into a call? It's self-supporting through its own voluntary contribution. It is not group therapy. It is not, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to express anything. You can just listen and you can just notice what you notice. And I do come from the faster EFT community. So we know that if we feel an emotion, we feel an upset, we can tap and we can say, let it go, let it flow, let it out, let it vent, switch it, flip it, make it nice again. Peace. You grab your wrist, you say peace. Now you're directing your mind, your brain to a happy thought, a happy memory, a good feeling. Maybe you're just wiggling your toes, your right toe, your left toe. Maybe you're feeling your right elbow, maybe you're just like literally like grounding yourself. I'm right here, I'm right here. The other one I love to do is a thought comes up, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. A feeling comes up, I love you, I love you, I love you. An emotion shows up and I can be grateful for it or I can thank it for it at whatever level that it shows up. And also the other is there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with anybody. Like we are successfully creating even those outcomes that we don't want. We're successfully creating it. Okay, sorry guys. I am out here in where am I at? Manhattan Beach, and it is beautiful out. It's been raining for like 4 days. You can see the Pacific Ocean over there. So I want to get some sun and I want to get it before it gets dark. So this is why I chose to come out here. So there's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. So there's a part of our brain that we call the survival part of our brain, which remembers all the bad stuff, like all the past memories, the past hurts, the past feelings, and we function from that perspective. So here in this meeting, you will get to be responsible for that. And so, like I said, one way is to tap, the other way is just to breathe in and out of your nose, noticing the flow that's coming in, noticing the flow that's coming out, just being with that, like just being with that. You might notice an emotion evoke or a sadness or a love or a deep appreciation for yourself, for the group, for your situation. You can just, I love you, I love you, I love you, that higher part of you that wants to be loved, that wants to be happy. You can thank that part of you for showing up to this call, for having the courage, to come to one of these calls. And so what we do is we're going to read. We're going to read in the group. We're going to mute our phones, our tablets, or what have you. If you wanted to read, because we'll just read off of, I'm going to share a sheet and we can read. You can unmute yourself and you can read. You can say your name. Hi, my name is Rita Wood. You can tell us where you're at. I'm in California. I'm in Huntington Beach. I'm in my, whatever, my kitchen, my bathroom, whatever it is. And so We have an opportunity to be conscious, open, aware, honest, loving, generous, caring, and private as well. So we open the meeting with a moment of silence. And at this moment of silence, you can just like, yeah, life's happening. You know, it probably took a lot for you to be in this call. You probably got a shitload of trauma drama happening. You know, everything that is going to happen will happen. It'll happen during your call, before your call. Like, we get all that. Like, we've been there, right? So we just let that go, and just come back to the present moment. And that's what it is. It's a moment to moment. Just bring yourself back, Nothing wrong with that person, what they said, how they said it. Our job is to come back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm sorry, forgive me, forgive me. And then just come back. So just come back to zero, come back to neutrality, come back to this moment. So I'll ask you to take a deep breath in, and I'll ask you to try this right now. And as you're doing this, like, notice who's doing the listening, who's listening to me. Pay attention to who's doing the listening. Pay attention to if there's any criticism or any what ifs and should be's, and they're not doing it wrong and they could have said it this way. Just, if there's nothing wrong, just notice that it's the listener. Is what you are. You're the listener, experiencing your being. Your being is presence before thought. So now just take another deep breath in and just notice what you notice. Thank you. So also what I like to do for you, or what I like for you guys to do, is get a piece of paper, and I want you to write down what you want to get out of this meeting. Is it peace? Is it joy? Is it understanding? Is it, you know, what is it? What is it that you want to get out of this meeting? And then we're going to read the statement of purpose. Our meeting lasts approximately for 1 hour. During this hour, we come together for mutual help. We come to learn how we have access to the power and the power to create a life by design. The group conscious requests that all present refrain from gossip, dominance, discussion of religion, treatment centers, health, self-help programs, counseling, giving advice, and use of material other than the one tap mindset approved literature principles. So just for today, we're gonna, just refrain from all that. Sometimes that part of our brain, the survival part of our brain, wants this, wants that. It's right. Whatever it is, it's just an opportunity to notice that. So remember, we keep the focus on us and not on others. We thank you for the cooperation and efforts to stick to the one tap mindset principles. So please turn off your phones, as I can hear my reminder tell me that it's almost time for our call here today. And there's going to be a lot of newcomers who are attending the first time, second time, third time to this meeting. So you can state your name. We welcome you, and then we'll ask someone to volunteer, like what they've gotten out of this 12-step process, the experience, the strength, and the hope they've gotten. What has touched them or moved them or inspired them out of their participation. And for those who are going to share, just limited to 2 or 3 minutes. In this group, we believe that getting a partner or buddy, and using one are important part of creating a new future, new practices, new exercises for continued development. So I encourage you guys to reach out to have a buddy that you can read these principles over and over again, the transformational readings. So if anybody's interested in being a buddy or tapping buddy or a breathing buddy or a one tap mindset 12-step buddy, you can raise your hand, and then people can see who's open and available, even for like a quick conversation. So we operate from truth, 100% truth. So these are the truths and why we have problems, issues, pains, and symptoms. So it's what we call the 10 Commandments. So before you were born, the stage was set. And what we'll do is throughout the 12 steps is we're going to go through each one of these commandments, one of the calls, and we're going to just kind of open it up, and just see what shows up, see what we can tap out, release, let go of, see what we can love, appreciate, acknowledge, forgive ourselves for using against. Peace. Number 2, they, the caregivers, had their own beliefs, coping mechanism, talents, stories, and problems. And then, why do we have problems? Because you were born. It's into the human condition. They impacted you. So number 4 is, you got influenced by teachers, parents, loved ones, your first sexual encounter, you got impacted by them. And you developed, consciously or unconsciously, you develop a how-to, a code of operation, how to survive, how to, you develop what do I have to do to be significant in someone's life? Maybe you thought, I'm on my own, I don't belong, there's something wrong with me. So we start developing that, and then we start creating, number 6, creating a system, a belief system. And in this belief system, we start creating give me one second here. We start creating an identity, and this identity is like I am. So we start thinking, we start getting the I am, like the what happened, and we start like collapsing our situations, our events, as to like that's who I am. When reality is that's not what happened. Something happened, and then you made it mean something. So we'll go into depth on that. Number 8, you find your place in the world with people which fit your environment. Do you ever notice that, hey, I'm like, you start hanging out with people with the same patterns, the same structures, the same things, with the same victim mentality or the same, so we find our place in the world and we move towards that. Number 9, you have patterns and structures and stories, and those stories show up. And it's what my teacher, instructor always says, it's the same story with a different pair of shoes, and the number 10 is all problems are metaphoric. So this is kind of where the brain training mindset comes in, that a metaphor, your whole life is an expression or a metaphor of what you hold inside, the thoughts that you hold inside, the pictures, the image, the feelings and sensation, anything that happens out there, that is the metaphoric mind. So then what we do is we go into, once you know the 10 commandments, then you go into the 12 steps transformational belief system. And number 1 is take complete ownership, to take complete ownership of what you've created, consciously or unconsciously. And that's the beginning of your freedom. That's the beginning of what's going to transcend your life. So give me a second here.